Invest Nova Scotia supports businesses, helping you thrive at every stage of your journey.
If you live in Atlantic Canada, it's highly likely the plants you purchase at your favorite garden center originally came from Avon Valley Floral. This greenhouse operation and floral wholesaler was founded in 1935. Originally a family-owned business, it was recently sold to some employees, and now is a women-led, locally owned company. In Falmouth, Nova Scotia, it operates 15 acres worth of greenhouse space and has over 200 full-time and seasonal employees. Avon Valley Floral is a leading provider of cut flowers, bouquets, potted and bedding plants, dish gardens, foliage, as well as a full line of florist supplies and giftware year-round.
So in the last few years, our successes have mainly come from figuring out exactly what our market's looking for and focusing in on that. So rather than producing hundreds of different products and trying to figure out what people want, we've narrowed it down to things that are just very, very popular and very desirable to the end consumer. And that is things like we do a very large hanging basket that doesn't need to be watered as often and that will actually survive in our maritime climate, to porch pots that will look good and have nice height, and things that we've just seen the market sort of evolve towards. The other thing that we're really good at doing here is using our space. So you're sitting in a field of mums right now. But unlike a field, this field has been used 4 times in this growing season. So spring hanging baskets were planted in here on the ground back in April, actually back in February. And then those were lifted up and put on these hanging hooks around us, and more crop was planted in on the ground after that. And then that crop was sold out, and more crop was planted in on the ground after that, and then the mums were planted on that. So that is a key feature of covered crop agriculture, is that we are able to use the same field space multiple times in a single growing season.
Today, they're planting red cheer poinsettias, growing them for Atlantic Canadians to enjoy in December. They start with plant plugs, which are plant cuttings or seeds rooted in tiny amounts of soil or foam. These come from their sister company or other qualified sources. The plugs are planted using the plant line in their warehouse. Trays of 4-inch plant pots are placed on a conveyor. A tower of soilless medium, a sterile planting medium ensuring plants won't get diseases, is inserted into its bale breaker. It's powered up. At the top of the tower is a bale shaver. An elevator pushes the soil up into teeth that grind it before it falls into a hopper. Water is added through nozzles for the desired moisture levels. The hopper has a conveyor, lifting the soil up and dropping it into pots traveling down the line. Scraper blades even it out. Excess soil drops into a lower hopper, and it's fed back into the machine. Each plug is planted manually by staff. Potted trays travel through a water tunnel, where the amount of water also is carefully controlled. Watered poinsettias are offloaded to a cart. Once this is full, it's wheeled to a greenhouse. This happens until all the plugs are planted. The planted poinsettias are set out in a greenhouse. They sit for 24 hours before being watered. In 3 weeks, they get pinched to help control the growth. They keep growing and turning red over 6 weeks. They previously planted larger poinsettias in a variety of colors in this acre greenhouse. They were pinched after 3 weeks to promote shoot growth and control the number of leaves changing color. These have 7 weeks of vegetative growth, followed by 8 weeks of reproductive growth. Greenhouses keep plants growing well through various methods. One of the most important is the boom water irrigation systems. Each greenhouse has a motherboard watering system. The system is turned on. The water travels through a dosatron, which adds food for the plants. Then the water flows through the water line into the boom. A computer system is programmed to control how much, how often, and how fast it waters or mists. These poinsettias are misted once an hour.
We just want to grow really beautiful plants really well, and we put a lot of focus on growing plants that are designed for the Atlantic environment. So things that will actually, when the consumer purchases them, she'll take them home, she'll be happy because they are going to grow and live in our environment in particular. So quality and longevity in the plants.
Avon Valley Floral uses biological controls in their greenhouses. Specific bugs are introduced to combat bugs that harm the plants, helping keep plants healthy. Helpful bug larvae are distributed on these white cards. Yellow cards catch pests to see what's in the environment. Passive ventilation controls the humidity. Each greenhouse has a vent side. This one has a garage door. Another has roof vents. Each greenhouse has a mechanical air circulation fan system. Ventilation and circulation are controlled by their Bartlett Climate Boss systems, which can be managed remotely. Good circulation is essential to prevent mold issues. In the winter, propane heaters keep plants warm. An irrigation watering system is being assembled in another greenhouse where these poinsettias will be moved. Drippers are inserted, which will get placed 2 per plant pot. Spaghetti flex lines are strung together, which eventually get attached to a main line. These fall chrysanthemums were planted in May. At one point, they had nets laid on their tops to provide support. Now, each fully grown mum is thoroughly fed and watered using the water irrigation system. Now that the plants are ready for shipping, a lawn tractor arrives with plant carts. The irrigation drippers are removed, and the pots are placed on carts. These yellow mums are wheeled closer to the shipping room. Other carts full of red and pink mums are manually packed on carts and encased in shrink wrap. They're rolled right onto transport trucks. Once fully loaded, cargo bars pack the load in, the door is drawn closed, and it's locked. Then these chrysanthemums are driven away for delivery to a garden center in Atlantic Canada, just like the hundreds waiting in their warehouse.
Invest Nova Scotia supports businesses, providing the tools and expertise you need to succeed.